Hello and welcome to Bloke on the Range. Today we won't be wearing these because thanks to Matt of AATS we have a 32 ACP Welrod pistol. Now these, unlike the G150, the Swiss anti-materiel silenced rifle that I showed in an earlier video, these were intended to knock people off. And fairly large numbers of them were dropped into occupied Europe during World War II. Now this was a development at one of the sneaky beaky research establishments near Welwyn Garden City, and its code name is Welrod, well for Welwyn Garden City, and rod as something random. Looks a bit like a bicycle pump. Now we don't know how many of these were produced. It's probably somewhere in the region of 2,800. There was this model 32 ACP, which you can tell from the front sight being at the front, and there's a 9mm para version with the front sight about halfway down. Now this has a vented barrel that goes up to about there, and then there's a series of baffles, some of which have rubber wipes in them. Now wipes are basically soft rubber discs, or sometimes oiled leather discs, with a small hole through them, and they serve to keep back the gases. This, in principle, deserves the title silenced. This one, the wipes are shot, so we can shoot it as much as we like. Now, mechanically, the magazine is the grip. It has a grip safety and a very simple trigger mechanism. Magazine release is here, and you can see the obvious problem there, where if you grip it wrong, it's going to fall out on you. The sights are actually quite reasonably sized, nice and solid. Originally with a radioactive insert for use at night, as you would expect of a sneaky beaky weapon. And as far as user serviceability goes, you take a coin, you can undo this screw, and then the bolt comes out, for it is a bolt action, a very simple bolt action. If you look at it there, we have a little extractor on the top. We have an ejector fixed down in there. I don't know if the light's good enough to see that. A locking sleeve at the back, and that's basically it. It is ultra simple. The silencer is not meant to be user serviceable. That is an armourer's job. I don't suspect that they were ever intended to fire that many shots in any one go. So, cocks on closing, and then this is dry fire safe. Trigger's not actually that bad, despite it being ultra primitive. I mean, basically you've got a sheet metal magazine housing, you've got a trigger mechanism. Let's just cock it again. Trigger mechanism which goes around the magazine well. The grip safety is just a hook that prevents this stirrup from moving backwards. And that's basically all there is to it. No safety catch. Markings are kind of random. There's a serial number. This one is 40. Sorry, it's the other way around. This is 5807. This one actually has some proof marks on it as well, which I wasn't expecting, including a British commercial Birmingham proof. Now we know that BSA made some of them. They might have made all of them. We don't know. This is not information in the public domain. And they were allegedly used as late as the Falklands and Gulf War I, allegedly. So we shall see. Now, because we like busting myths here on Bloke on the Range, the first thing we're going to do with this is shoot a group rested at 25 meters. And in fact, we have some 1940s era Swiss Thun produced 32 ACP ammo to do it with. So let's try it. Okay, so these take 8 rounds of 32 ACP, so we shall do an 8-round group and see what it can do, or what I can do. No hearing protection. Well, that's a bull to start with. Trigger fault. Yeah. So, let's bring the targets back and have a look. So, one horrible flyer there, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, I think that puts paid to the idea that they are useless other than as a contact weapon. I mean, they do have a recessed muzzle to facilitate such up-close and personal usage, but that, with ancient ammo, is reasonably passable.
A minute of SS Colonel?
Joker. But I think we should try another 8 rounds with some modern ammo, and now that I've had a bit of practice, because the trigger, it feels okay normally until you get behind the sights and then you realise it's long and heavy and gritty, but let us try it with some modern S&B and see if it does any better. I doubt it, but why not try? Okay, modern S&B, another 8-round group. The can gets a little warm, but I suspect in reality firing more than 1 or 2 shots in one go was not something that happened. So but oops, that was my fault. Okay, targets please. Nice and warm now. So that was a trigger fault on my part. The rest, that is perfectly adequate for a contact weapon. I think we can put this particular myth to rest. And you'll notice that it's totally comfortable. I mean, this range has a concrete backstop, which is reflecting a lot of the sound back. And even though the baffles are shot, This is probably only a little bit louder than a noisy Springer air gun. But, I think what we should do now is put out a sound meter about, say, 7 yards ahead of the firing point, and then do a comparison between this and this. There's no point in trying to use a mobile phone based sound meter because they're not designed for peak pressures like that. They don't really work very well. The professional equipment to do it is just crazy expensive, so we haven't got it. So we're just going to do a comparison with a sound meter with a fixed gain, and we'll see what it sounds like from the wrong end. Right, so I'm standing right in front, and this is the level of my voice, speaking in my normal YouTube voice. Looking towards it, it's about this height, but I'm going to shoot off the bag so that I don't actually hit it, touch wood. That's a clap right next to it for comparison. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 yards. So first up, 3 rounds of 1940s 32 ACP. And when you close the bolt, you have to be careful that the lugs are lined because there's no détente or anything. So just over the top of the sound meter. And there's the problem with the magazine falling out. Don't hold it right. Now Glock 43, and we have 3 rounds of 154 grain subsonic. Now I can't see the sights on this. The can is a little bit bigger than the front sight, but I can still hit the target. Yeah, that was kind of noisy despite being subsonic. And then we've got 3 rounds of normal 124 grain top shot. Well, I don't think there's any doubt as to which is quieter. Even a well shot out Welrod is significantly quieter than a Glock 43 with a little B&T mini can on the end of it. Chappie's going to have a go too.
Mwah. See if it's ambidextrous, it's only fair. Strange putting something in a grip which doesn't have one. Really slam it in, or?
Yeah, might need a bit of oomph with that old ammo.
There we go.
There you go.
Why do I do it like this? Very correct. Trigger is variable.
It is. You smell the rubber from the wipes. even though they are totally shot through. Just imagine how quiet it would be with the wipes in place.
Mm. There we go.
Impressions? Smells very much like rubber.
It does, yeah. Impressions, yeah, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, the trigger surprises you. Sometimes it's quite light, sometimes it's really spongy, sometimes it's stiff. But the sights are okay, actually. Don't know what I did over there. Low, I think.
Press button though.
Two off, probably down there.
Trigger control.
Yep, as usual. Yeah.
So the provenance on this particular pistol is quite interesting. It appears to have been dropped into Denmark during World War II. It ended up in a private Norwegian collection and then went via the UK, where it will have got that Birmingham proof mark, to Matt of AATS's hands in Switzerland. And I'm very, very thankful to him for hosting us here, organising the range and letting me shoot this lovely, fascinating piece of history. So there you go. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Please consider supporting us on Patreon if you haven't already done so, and see you again sometime. Bye.